Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 21. Yo yo yam yam tanam bhakta shraddhachitam ichati tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidadhami aham yo yam yam tanam bhakta shraddhachitam ichati tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidadhamyaham. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitanina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamlan Shri Gurun Vaishnavanashta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tham Sajivam Sadvetam Sabudhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Ushakanitam Shah Jai Shri Krishna Che Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Yo yam yam tanam bhakta shraddha yarchitam ichati tasya chalam shraddham tamima vidha dhamyaham. So, in the verse that we read yesterday, Krishna was explaining that those who have material desires, they go to the demigods. So some of you may want to know, how is it that some people come to Krishna, some go to demigods, some go to bogus gurus, and some go to the vodka bottle? In the purport, Prabhupada has said, not a blade of grass moves without God's permission. So even those who go to the vodka bottle get their final approval to go to the bottle from Krishna. And those who are atheistic, criminal, mafia, they also ultimately get their final sanction from Krishna. And those who are trying to be pure devotees, they also get their ultimate sanction from Krishna. So how does Krishna approve these different desire activities? So the answer is presented in this verse and purport. Krishna says, I am situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. So as a super soul, Krishna becomes aware of every desire that we develop. These days we have technology of which we are very proud, but nobody can match spiritual technology. Just see this technology. Krishna is in the heart as Paramatma. There's the living entity Jivatma, and the desires are coming through the mind and the heart. And as the desires are coming, Krishna recognizes what type of desires you are cultivating. Isn't this sophisticated technology? In the material world, we have an example that is a little close to it, but nowhere as perfect as this. Just like if you're passing through a garden, you smell the fragrance of the flower, and by smelling the fragrance of the flower, you can identify what type of sweetok it is. So similarly, if you can smell the fragrance of a flower and identify the flower, just like sometimes you have karmis who are very expert in smelling perfumes, and they can just smell the perfume and identify, oh, this is Shamal number 5, or this is Revlon, or whatever it is. So Krishna can also smell our desires and identify the nature of our desires. So Krishna instantly recognizes our desires, and then he reciprocates accordingly. Krishna has given independence to everyone. Sometimes people say, why has God given us this independence? Because we are misusing this independence. Best would have been, if there would have been no Maya, then we would all have been forced to do bhakti. Because Krishna has given us this independence, because the definition of bhakti is voluntary execution of service to God. Otherwise it would be dictatorship. And nobody likes dictatorship, isn't it? You had dictatorship in your country for a long time. Did you like it? So, nobody likes dictatorship. And Krishna is not a dictator. See how humble Krishna is. He tells you what's right, what's wrong, and then let you make the decision. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that Krishna does not interfere with the independence of anyone. So those who want to worship the demigods, he gives them that type of intelligence. Krishna says, Antavatya phalam tesham tad bhakti alpa medasam. Those who worship the demigods, they get some fruits, but those fruits are very temporary. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has also explained, Abhama puvana loka panaravartana rajana mamma peti dekanteya panajanmana vidyate. That is, from the topmost planet to the bottommost planet, all are actually places of misery. And unless one comes to me, he cannot become free from the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanti deva vrata devan pritir nyanti pritir vrataha bhutani yanti bhuti jayanti madagina prima. He says, those who worship the demigods will go to the planets of the demigods. Those who worship me will come to me. Just like you cannot buy a ticket to Leningrad and hope by your summer load to go to Almaty. Wherever you buy a ticket for, that's where you're going to go. So you can't think that by worshipping the demigods, you're going to go to the kingdom of God. So Krishna, actually the demigods are also devotees of Krishna. So some of you may say, what is the harm in worshipping the demigods? After all, they're also part and parcels of Krishna. Just like Prabhupada gave the example, your hands, your legs, your eyes, they're also part of your body. So when you're hungry, why don't you put your chapati inside your ears and eyes? And you can put your khichdi every morning in your hands and legs. After all, eyes, ears, hands, legs are all part of the body, so it doesn't matter where you put the food. So even though the hands and legs and eyes are part of the body, only when you put food in the mouth does it enter the stomach and satisfy you. So similarly, thou the demigods and part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, unless you water the root of the tree, the satisfaction will not be there. If you go on worshipping a particular demigod sincerely, then eventually it is possible that some of the other you will get directed towards worshipping Krishna. But if you have the chance of worshipping Krishna directly, why should you worship Krishna indirectly? Just like, for example, if you want to touch the tip of your nose, if you can touch the tip of your nose directly, why should you try to take your hand around your head to make it reach the tip of the nose? Does it make sense? If you want to go on the top of a 20-story building, if they have a lift over there, why should you go up the staircase when you can go up by the lift directly? So one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and not indirectly. Generally, those who worship the demigods, they have a very business type of relationship. Once the Prabhupada used to give a story which is vaguely as follows. So there was once a devotee of goddess Durga. So he went to goddess Durga and said, please give me this benediction, and if you give me this benediction, then I will offer a goat to you. So the benediction was given, and the so-called devotee was happy. Every day this devotee would come to goddess Durga to offer his worship. So few days went by after the benediction was given, and the goat was still not offered to goddess Durga. So goddess Durga told the devotee, I already gave you your benediction. Why haven't you offered the goat as yet to me? So he said, oh, the goat has become very expensive in the market. Maybe I can offer you a chicken. So she said, okay, offer me a chicken. So a few days went by and he didn't even offer the chicken. So the goddess said, first you promised me a goat, now you haven't even given the goat. Then you promised me a chicken, where's my chicken? So the devotee said, oh, the chicken has also become so expensive, what can I do? So there were a lot of flies in that temple. So goddess Durga said, okay, why don't you offer me some of these flies at least that you see in this room everywhere? So the devotee said, why don't you catch the flies yourself? So Prabhupada was explaining that generally the devotee's relationship with the demigods is a very business type relationship. As soon as his material desires are fulfilled, then they say Dasudanya. So one who is intelligent, he goes directly to the Supreme Lord because he understands that Sri Krishna is the cause of all causes. So as the super soul in the heart, Krishna is fulfilling various duties. You and I work hard for a few hours and we get tired, utsav. Huh? But Krishna never gets tired. He's working round the clock, not only in your heart, but in the heart of every living entity. And at the same time maintaining millions of universes. So you can see what a perfect manager Krishna is. So Krishna as a super soul, besides sanctioning your desires, he is also witnessing all your desires and activities. Witnessing means he is the bookkeeper of your activities. All your activities are being recorded. Can you believe that? Every activity, every word you speak, every thought you entertain, every action you execute, it is all being computerized. Yes, this is spiritual technology. In the third canto of the Bhagavatam, Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapila Dev. Actually, there were two Kapila Devs that have appeared in history. One Kapila Dev is known as the son of Devahuti. So he is known as Devahuti Putra Kapila Dev. This Kapila Dev appeared in Satyuga. And then there was another Kapila Dev who appeared few hundred years ago who was a bogus incarnation. So the real Kapila Dev presented to us the philosophy of Samkhya Yoga. So in the third canto we see that Devahuti asked her son, "Son, how can I become free from the cycle of birth and death? I'm simply an ignorant woman, but you are very enlightened, so please enlighten me." Because when Devahuti was pregnant, she knew. Lord Brahma came and told her, the child in your womb is the incarnation of Godhead. So Kapila Dev told her, "My dear mother, you can become free from the miseries of birth and death by taking to the path of bhakti." The mother said, "How do you cultivate bhakti?" He said, "In the association of devotees." Then the mother said, "I have heard that according to the law of karma, one's next life is decided. But you please tell me, my son, how is it, who is ascertaining what activities one performs? Who is the deciding factor that will decide what type of birth I'm going to get, one should get?" Many of you guests and even devotees sometimes may wonder, how does the law of karma work? After all, who is going to decide how our next life will be, what type of body we will get? Prabhupada studied in a college in Calcutta called Scottish College. So in that Scottish College, at that time India was under British rule and there were many British professors. So one day Prabhupada was called by his British professors and they asked Prabhupada a question. They said, "You people believe in reincarnation, life after death, but who is witnessing all this? Who is going to decide what type of body one will get? Whether one will be a rich man, poor man, who will decide?" So the answer is, "Karmana deva netrena jantur deho papataye striya praveshta udaram pumsom reta kanashrayaha." This verse is in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, and it is Lord Kapila Dev's answer to his mother Devahuti. So in this verse, Lord Kapila Dev is saying, Karmana Deva. Karmana means action. Deva means demigods. Netrena means eyes. So Karmana Deva Netrena Janto Deho Papataye. So based on the activities that the living entity performs, which are all being witnessed by the demigods, the living entity enters through the semen of the male into the womb of the female. So the living entity's next life is decided by his actions, which are being witnessed by the demigods and the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart. So you may want to know, how are the demigods witnessing your activities? The sun god and the moon god, they're both witnessing your activities, because any activity you perform is either in the day or in the night. And so the sun and the moon are there. The sun and the moon can penetrate even through the thick walls of a fort and see what is happening inside. Just like you go to an X-ray machine, it takes your X-ray and sees what's inside your body, doesn't it? They have these cameras that can take pictures from 40, 50, 100,000 feet, the spy satellites. And the stars are also witnessing everything. The demigod in charge of air is witnessing everything. And the Paramatma is witnessing everything. So everything is being recorded by the Paramatma. So you should understand that nobody can cheat the Paramatma. Similarly, when you come to spiritual life, and when the Paramatma sees that you have a desire to serve God sincerely, then he guides you towards ISKCON. And if you want some bogus Bhagwan, God, then you get guided towards Sai Baba and all that. So the point is, Krishna guides you according to your desire. Therefore, our desire should be sincere. And if our desire is sincere, then Krishna reciprocates. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who worship me with devotion, I make up what they lack and I preserve what they have. So we may have so many shortcomings, but Krishna in the heart will make it up. Prabhupada used to say that if you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 10 steps towards you. So if we take one step towards Krishna, if you have a desire to become Krishna conscious and to develop pure love of God, become free from the cycle of birth and death, then even if you have no ability, Krishna will manifest that ability through you. By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj has stated, a blind man can see, a lame man can walk, a deaf man can hear, and a dumb man can speak. A lame man can even cross mountains, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you have something special going for you in Kali Yuga, which you did not have in previous ages. That is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In these capitalistic economies, they have a sale. That means, suppose something is selling for $100, then after Christmas they'll reduce it for $10. You don't have much experience of this in your country, I think. So anyway, similarly, the process of self-realization has been put on sale in Kali Yuga due to the causeless appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is, self-realization has become very easy. In Satya Yuga, in order to become self-realized, you had to meditate for 100,000 years. In Treta Yuga, you had to perform big sacrifices for up to 10,000 years. In Dwapara Yuga, for 1,000 years, you had to make very rich offerings to the Lord in the temple. But in Kali Yuga, all you have to do is chant Hare Krishna for the duration of this life. And you can get the same result that you could get in Satya Yuga by 100,000 years of meditation. So this is the unique contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The process of self-realization has been put on sale. It is available freely and cheaply. All you have to do is embrace it, accept it with faith. So please stay to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and the philosophy that the Krishna conscious movement is presenting, which is nothing but a true philosophy. And if you take it enthusiastically, then your real desires will be satisfied and you'll always be happy. So there's no need to worship the demigods, we worship the Supreme Lord directly. Sometimes people think that if we worship Krishna directly, not the demigods, then the demigods will get angry. Even if they get angry initially, later on they realize their mistake and they're very happy. Indra was very unhappy when the Brijbasi stopped their yearly offering. But when he realized who Krishna was, he apologized for his mistake. He said, Isvinitya. He said, Prostitya. So the point is that Lord Chaitanya has very kindly delivered to us a very sublime method. And not only do we have Lord Chaitanya's mercy going in our favor, we also have Srila Prabhupada's unique mercy working in our favor. So you have a double bargain in Kali Yuga. You have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy. So you just have to take to this process with faith and experience spiritual bliss. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm just going to take on questions for 5 or 10 minutes the most, okay? Now as I told you, I'm going to be leaving tonight and I'm going to come back to Moscow on February the 11th. So I think I'll lecture February 11th evening and 12th morning and 12th evening. I'm also going to lecture on the Goswamis of Vrindavan on those days, okay? Yes.
About demigods. It seems like it was because we should understand that we should serve Hare Krishna. It's difficult to understand why do they need to go. Technique of sacrifice for demigods, it's known to us. We know only about serving Krishna.
You don't need to know about technique of serving demigods. Don't worry. Shaitan niyat vazna.
What is the meaning of sacrifice to demigods, worshiping demigods? Who gave a sanction for these business relationships?
The demigods give sanction directly. Okay. Yes, and then that mata. Then Mataji in the back had her hand up. Okay, wash.
Jesus Christ in Bible says that you will come to the Father only through me. Not only, she said, just through me. What does it mean?
What that means is you can go to the Father only through the devotee of Krishna, only through the devotee of God. Jesus Christ was Son of God, a great devotee of the Lord. So to go to God, you have to go through a devotee of God. You can't go to God directly. Therefore, our philosophy is you go to God through the Guru. So that is what it meant. Yes, that Mataji in the back. So there's no contradiction.
If the devotee developing some material attachment, Krishna is taking away that attachment. And what does it mean saying that one should serve without being attached to the result of the service?
Well, if you are sincere in your heart, then Krishna will take away your material attachments. Without being attached to the fruits of your work means that you may do your duty, but don't be attached to the results. Just like you may go and worship Krishna in the temple, chant 16 rounds. Now don't think that because you're chanting 16 rounds, you're going to get a lot of dengue. Don't think that now you're chanting 16 rounds, you should never fall sick and never see the Vracha's face. Okay? Yes, Pazalusta.
He said that even the blade of grass cannot remove without
God's permission.
Yeah, and it means that our desire also can't arise without God's permission. What is in the
No. The desire comes from you. Sanction comes from God. Krishna doesn't give you the wrong desire. Wrong desire comes by your misuse of free will. All that Krishna does is he stamps it. Da. Just like if you develop the desire, I must become a good devotee, I'm going to give up Maya, then Krishna will help you to achieve that.
Krishna gives permission for
Sanction.
yeah, and is there some desires for which Krishna didn't give sanction?
Yes, there are many desires for Krishna doesn't give sanction, sure. Just like I may desire that I should have a Mercedes car, a Bolshoi Quartira, a ticket to America. Krishna sees your desire and then sees, what is your record of karma? And then if your desire and karma allows it, only then you get it. Just like you may go to a shop and say, I want this Volga machine. But then if you have the dengue, then you'll get, not otherwise. So you may desire anything, but if your karma doesn't sanction it, then you can't get it. Then Krishna will not approve it. So it is a little complicated, this technology.
Karma is also Krishna's permission.
No, based on karma, then our desire is approved or rejected. Just like you may have the qualification of being an engineer, and then somebody can help you to get a job as an engineer. But if you have no qualification, you can't get a job as an engineer even if your father is the head of the company. Well, mnogo вопрос сегодня. Okay.
Is it good to say that a habit is second nature?
If habit is second nature, what is first nature? Я не знаю.
So when we are saying about religion, when we are saying about religion, it means that it's connected with worshipping to the God. And in the qualities of Krishna also mentioned religiosity. And what it means in the case of Krishna, does it mean that he is worshipping to himself when he is punishing?
Krishna, by his example, is displaying religious behavior. Krishna will never behave in an irreligious manner. Otherwise, how will you follow him? Krishna preaches by example. Krishna is not like the present-day political leaders who behave in an uncivilized way and tell you, you please be civilized. Okay, partially in вопрос. Yes.
Why the demigod not interesting very much to return the fallen soul back to Krishna?
Well, the demigods are not as pure as Krishna. That's the simple reason. So, Prabhus, I know it's late. I don't want you people to travel very late in the night on the metro. Rest of the questions, you can keep them in storage till February 11th. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Śrīla Gopal Krishna Maharaja 𝐾𝐲.
Hare
Krishna Krishna